that you would take a few minutes to meet with us so that we can give you an overview of who we are as the Youth Services Citizens Board. The members of the board, we're going to be introducing ourselves through the presentation. So let me just acknowledge who we have here as our guests. And I want to start first with, I still consider him a colleague, our city manager, Bob, if you could just introduce yourself and say hello.
Sure. Thank you, Anita, and happy to be here. Always happy to hear what's going on with our youth services folks, and looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you. And we certainly want to thank you for your continued support. And let me call upon our superintendent, Mrs. Smith, and I just lost you.
Are you ready for me?
I'm sorry. Oh,
Bryce.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's my fault. The pictures are changing. Our superintendent, Mrs. White, forgive me. If you could acknowledge and introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Brianna White, Superintendent, Roanoke City Public Schools. What a pleasure it is to be here with you this afternoon and for me to learn more about the Youth Services Citizen Board. So thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be here.
And we certainly do appreciate your taking time to be with us this afternoon. We feel this is a very important connection that we want to make certain that we maintain. And now, Ms. Smith, she is the chair of Roanoke City School Board. Ms. Smith.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. I thank Joyce for inviting me today, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all about the Youth Services Citizens Board agenda and how we all can work together.
Thank you so very much, dear. So happy that you're here. We do have another member of the school board that is on this board, and she'll be introducing herself shortly. And last but certainly not least, I certainly would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our newest member to the board, Mrs. Javion Sanchez Jones. She is now an official member of the board. So, Ms. Jones.
Thank you. I am very proud to be on the Youth Services Citizens Board, and I'm just here to learn from everybody and to see the history of the Youth Citizens Board, and eager to work with all of you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. And we have one more guest. I wouldn't be right if I didn't acknowledge JD. Yes, I'm calling on you, dear.
You're very sweet. You are so wonderful. My name is JD Carlin. I am the coordinator of development and evaluation for prevention and wellness services with Blue Ridge Behavioral Healthcare. And thank you very much, Ms. White, for recognizing me. I am not an official member of the Youth Service Citizens Board. I attend the meetings as I guess a permanent guest would be the best way to put it, as we try to connect to some of the programs that we have in conjunction with the Youth Services Citizen Board.
Absolutely. Thank you. And with those introductions, let's get started. And next slide, please. So one of the things that we felt is very important for us to just kind of begin with is looking at our board's mission. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. You can certainly take time to do that. But our Youth Services Board really kind of came about as reinstating what had once been a part of Roanoke City government, and that was our board of for youth services. So back in 2012, we came together with several agencies to kind of make certain to reinstate how can we best serve the youth of our city and serve sort of as an overarching umbrella for our services to youth, and to also make certain that we are providing a voice for youth, because as our youngest citizens, we certainly want to we certainly don't want to lose the impact of their engagement and service. All right, next slide, please. And here we have the listing of our members. And I have already sort of introduced myself. For those of you who don't know, I was an educator in Roanoke City Schools for 30 some years plus, member of City Council, and now currently serve as the chair for our Youth Services Citizens Board. So Karen, I'll call on you next.
Hi, I'm Karen Pillis. I am the Director of Mental Health Services at Family Service of Roanoke Valley. But I believe that I sit on this board as a citizen. I'm a lifelong resident of Roanoke City, and I've raised 3 children here, all who graduated from Roanoke City Public Schools. And so I think between my job and my residency, I think that comes together with a great passion for the youth of Roanoke City. So I'm really excited to have sat on this and been the vice chair for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you. And we'll go next to Ben Bezak.
I am Ben Bezak. I'm a retired teacher. I taught for 40 years. The 25 of them, I was in math department chair at Patrick Henry High School or William Fleming. I'm very much involved in the youth in the city. I guess now as a retired citizen 3 ways. I've been on the board for, it's getting close to 9 years. This is the youth board. And then I'm also on the library advisory board, and also a volunteer, and I work on the board with the CHIP, Child Health Investment Project.
Thank you, Ben. The next person you see listed there is Javion Tucker. Javion is one of our youth representatives to the board and will be introduced later by one of our adult members. And I do want to just say this, we have 4 student members, and because they're all so involved, so busy, that unfortunately all 4 of them were not able to be with us this afternoon. Javion, I believe, is at play practice. Pamela Smith is another member of our board who unfortunately was not able to be with us this afternoon. And Kennedy Wade is also one of our student reps, and you'll hear more about her in a moment. So I'm going to go next to Angela Wimberly.
Hello, everyone. I am a mother of a daughter at Roanoke City Public Schools. I'm also an employee. I taught for 22 years before moving to be the recruitment and retention coordinator, where I help recruit, retain highly qualified teachers to have excellent education for our youth. I'm also a member of Jack and Jill of America, and I work with the NAACP as well. So I try to really work with our youth in Roanoke City. I've sat on different boards. I have participated in different sporting events. My daughter is 17, and so we have, one more year that I will be able to participate as a mother. And I really, this is my first year on the board, so on the Youth Service Citizens Board. And so far I've learned a lot about the history of the board, and I'm just excited to see that the city is moving in this direction.
Thank you so much, Angela. All right, my dear friend, Jim O'Hare.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim O'Hare. I'm the Youth Care Administrator for the City of Roanoke, and we provide services and purchase services as well for juveniles who find themselves before the juvenile court. I'm a longtime member of the board, was here when Ms. Price got things started back in 2012. And I see this as really one of the most important things that we do to help with youth development. It's enormously rewarding to be on this board and to be involved with all these great people here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. All right, I'll call on Ms. Chelsea Parker next, please.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Parker. I am on this board and have been since the beginning as a City of Roanoke employee. I work for the Roanoke Public Libraries. This is year 11 and I'm the early literacy librarian. I have 2 small kids in the Roanoke City schools, preschool and second grade, so we have to keep this going. So when they are teenagers, they can be board members as well. So thank you guys.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, sweetheart. Next, our board member, Joyce Watkins. Oh, you're muted, Joyce.
There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Ms. White and Lutheria, thank you very much for joining us today. I thought it was so important that you guys get to see what the Youth Services Citizens Board is all about. There's so many ways to partner with this group. I've been with the group since 2016, the beginning of 2016 on the board, and I agree, it's a very rewarding to be with this organization because there's always we're always coming together and thinking about ways that we can help move our young people's futures forward in our city. I'm on the board as, I think I started out on the board as both a citizen and as a business leader. I, of course, work for Anthem. I run a sales team for Anthem, as well as now I'm also a school board member. And in seeing how, how much work is done, I'm in my second year on the school board, and seeing the amount of work and things that we do to try to move our students forward and help with their future. I see the similar things happening on the Youth Citizens Board. So being connected to both has been an amazing experience, and I'm grateful that we're able to all, get together today.
Thank you so very much. And next, Miss Lorena Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you. My name is Lorena Taylor Rollins Wilson, and I currently work with the Roanoke City Circuit Court in the Criminal Division. And I've been with the youth service since almost the beginning, but not quite there. But I was brought in by, at that time, Councilwoman Anita James Price, who invited me to be a part of this group as a partner, and then I eventually became a citizen. So I truly enjoy this. I'm with several different organizations. I'm with the NAACP, Roanoke branch of the Youth Council. I'm their co-advisor with the youth, as well as the Continental Society. And we're a group of women who help work with underprivileged children right here in the Roanoke City and abroad. I'm also a part of the Jack and Jill organization, where we work through charitable givings as well as community service work, where we're encouraging our young people to be able to get out and work in their community and do different things, whether it be doing a debate between our people coming up for elections and more. Also, lastly, I am also the founder of the Marcus M. Wilson Scholarship, which I give out to Roanoke City students. We give out scholarships to our city students only at this time. Hopefully one day we'll get bigger, but we're starting small. And so far we've given out 35 scholarships in 10 years and getting ready to give out more. So I've truly enjoyed being a part of this organization because I love helping our young people, help them grow, to help them be better in whatever their desires to do, as well as being able to help promote them and send them off to college. So this is a great opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, I cannot go forward without us acknowledging our staff representatives as well. She's not showing right now, but Aisha Johnson has been with us from since the very conception of our Youth Services Board, and really serves as the keeper of the archives. She keeps us all straight, and we are internally grateful to her. And to Miss Angie O'Brien, we have to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because Angie has stepped in and serving as that liaison between this board and the city has been absolutely seamless, and I can't thank you both. Can't thank you both enough. So I would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the two of them, and we just want to say kudos to both of them. So next slide, please. So as I hope you have begun to recognize, and on this slide you see the representation as has been demonstrated in the introductions that have been given from our membership. And because we have such a broad representation, we feel like we're able to make certain that we demonstrate that intersectionality of how we can continue to complement one another and to be able to play off the skill sets of each other's agencies and what we are able to produce in helping all of our children in the Roanoke City. And to be honest with you, I'm going to go ahead and say Roanoke Valley, because we certainly have had input from not just our children in the city, but throughout the Roanoke Valley. This particular photograph, I just wanted to very quickly mention that this was at one of our youth summits, and the planning department for the city set up a booth so that the young people could participate in giving their input and giving their their input and engagement as the city was working on the comprehensive plan. So that's just one example of some of the engagement that we've been able to demonstrate in making certain that our children are represented. Okay, next slide, please.
I get the privilege of introducing Javion Tucker to everybody. Javion is a sophomore at Patrick Henry. He prides himself on his volunteerism and his activism, and I have to give a little shout out because he began his volunteerism with Family Service of Roanoke Valley and our teen outreach program. We're really proud that that kind of lit his fire. And over this past summer, he became a big activist for really bringing racism and the problems that he saw youth experiencing in the city. And he attempted to meet with as many elected officials and appointed officials as he could. He is a member of both the PH Marching Band and the Players, and they're getting ready to launch a play. So I'm sure that that's where he is tonight. He is also a proud member of his church where he ushers, and this is one of the Star City shout outs, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a few minutes, that the city has started to do. And he is one of the people that we have shouted out as a city as an exemplary member of our youth community. So we're really proud that he is on our board as well. He is also a member of the NAACP Youth Council. And let me make sure I haven't missed anything. And I think that's it. So that's Javion. We also wanted to talk to you tonight about what some of our responsibilities as board members are and the board responsibilities. As Anita said, you guys can read, but I think that what we really try to do is bring together professionals and citizens as well as youth to fill needs of the youth that they have brought to our attention, and to help other programs to be able to help the youth, to be able to support youth. So we have, communicated to our citizens about things that were going on in the community. We are proud to have partnered with Roanoke City to have provided many youth services summits, which you're going to hear about. And we really approach the issues of our city through youth eyes. As Anita always says, those of us who are old heads, we may see them through old people eyes, through the old head eyes. So we are really, really happy that our youth are always alongside us, and they are leading us in many ways to speak for themselves and to help us speak with their voice. So next slide, Angie. I think that must be somebody else.
That's me, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so this is another one of our youth representatives. as you're going to be introduced to all four of them. This young lady, Miss Kennedy Wade, is a sophomore at Patrick Henry High School. I just found out a few minutes ago that she's at lacrosse. I thought she had play practice along with Javion, but she's got lacrosse. Uh, she is also on the varsity cheerleading. She's a member of the children's choir of the Roanoke Valley, the Virginia Children's Theater, and Patrick Henry's Theater. She's a member of Jack and Jill. She has a very strong personality and has a very very opinionated. As Karen was saying, we have to listen to them, and this dear darling definitely does not make any qualms in making herself known. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention she's also my granddaughter. That's why everybody's laughing. But she's a very, very spirited young lady, and we're very fortunate to have someone of her caliber. And, as you're going to see throughout the course of this presentation, we do have some actively involved young people. Our action plan really sort of sets the stage as to the work that we do. We went about putting together a compilation of who would serve on the board as we developed that mission and who comprises that board. That was certainly in conjunction with our city attorney, who worked tirelessly to make certain that we were put together in a way that would be the best in serving the community. And then on the next slide, that focus on the city platform model. National League of Cities has a component called the of youth, families, NLC and YEF, Youth Education and Families. And under that particular component, there are 4 tenets that we pride ourselves in following: helping our young people to learn and grow, making certain that they have a safe place to call home, a healthy lifestyle and environment, and then that financially fit family component. And as you'll see in the topics as we've presented them throughout the years, these are tenets that we definitely have tried to follow. And there's one other thing that occurred to me today. These are also tenets that VML, the Human Development and Education Policy Committee, that they also follow. So as you can see, we're kind of following national and state recognitions as to how we're making certain that things are going seamlessly in working collaboratively. Next slide, please.
Well, good afternoon. I get the privilege of introducing you all to this beautiful young lady known as Miss Brianna Wilson. Last name sound familiar? Because she's mine. Just to let you know, she is a senior at William Fleming High School. She's been a part of the youth service since 2018. She's actually the outgoing NAACP second vice president of the Youth Council. She is also the president of the Jack and Jill organization. She also was a part of the Continental Angels, which is another society that I was part of. And she's an active theater member. She's been a theater member since the 9th grade, and they're right now working on a play that they're getting ready to do invention. So I'm very proud of the things she's doing, and she's just a young lady that loves to be able to help others. So I'm proud as her mother. So going to our action plan, development of the Roanoke Youth Council. It begins its work using the Hampton and the Boston model, because it already had established their youth service for in their cities. Also, with the resources, we use the NLC plan, which is the National League of Cities. For who don't know what the NLC means, it's the National Leagues of Cities. And we've been doing that. That's how we're able to use the resources that they had as the model or the guide in order for us to keep this plan going. Next slide.
All righty. Some of the things that our Youth Services Board has done other than training sessions with the NLC, of course, with the City of Roanoke, we have budgeted items in our budget that will allow us to help with different community events. Some of those being also on this board, I'm the representative for Star City Reads, which if you guys don't know, our Star City Reads campaign is Roanoke's campaign for grade level reading. It's a collaborative partnership with almost 40 plus community partners, and we focus on ensuring that all Roanoke children are proficient in reading by 3rd grade, and the libraries are the lead on that. So some of the things that we do, as you can see in this picture, we go to various schools and pass out books, and as you can see, Anita and other community members participate as well. But pre-COVID, we were in every preschool, and we would have Star City readers that passed out books every month, so our preschoolers could start their book collections. We also help with the Melrose Fall Festival, which is the annual festival that we do at our Melrose Library, where we pass out books, and our different community partners pass out things such as pumpkins. This year we did it very COVID friendly. We were able to give away Bombas socks and cute little library and community bags. And we had most of our partners there, such as Chip. We had Anthem there as well. So we had lots of community members. And whenever we can, as a Youth Services Board, we try to participate in different community events, such as the Kids to Park Day, which we do every year. And of course, we have our own youth summits, whether it be in the summertime or in the fall. We try to reach out to our kids and get as much input as we can. So those are some of the things that we do as a whole on the Youth Services Board and in our community.
I wanted to talk to you about how the Youth Summit came about. As one of the older charter members, whenever they ask me to speak about anything on these boards, it seems they always say, well, let's talk about the old days, Jim. That you can talk about that. So I end up being the veteran. But in 2014, what we decided to do, and this was really not so much the NLC framework, but Ms. Price's vision, was to develop a youth summit where we would be able to get together with young people in a celebration of young people that was really focused on healthy development. We got organized by surveying all of the youth groups in the area that we knew of to see what topics youth would like us to hear from. So we were able to provide some presentations that were helpful to them. And the first annual youth summit came in 2014, and it was enormously successful. We had 175 people come to the first youth summit. The surveys from the youth groups provided us with the topics for the first year. That's the next slide. And you'll see they're based on healthy development. We had the entire school that we had to use to William Fleming High School to move kids around to different breakout sessions. And we had 5 of them that year, including the ones that you see here: substance abuse prevention. There was a healthy eating disorder prevention, our media-driven world. The police department did an excellent presentation on internet safety, and positive choices in dating and peer relationships was given as well. But we always want to focus that on what is the future. Youth summits also focus on healthy development of young people. We also want to make sure that it is a recognition of young people and their contributions to the city. Next slide.
This is me. The 2015 Youth Summit. In 2015, we did several things, and one of them was another Youth Summit. We also sent youth to the National League of Cities Conference. Anita and several other adults accompanied the youth there. We also, for the first time, began an annual mini summit. Prior to COVID, we had these in the winter every year. We held them at a middle school, and it was a focused mini summit. So it would be around one topic, whereas the big summits, we'd have 5 sessions, as Jim said. This was typically around just one topic, and it was a lot of time we gave youth, much more youth voice at these summits. So they were often the leaders of these summits. We had our second annual youth summit in the summer that year. And next slide, Angie. This was at Patrick Henry. We had Help Save the Next Girl. We, Blue Ridge did a presentation. We had Setting Goals and Values. We also, I believe this was the year that we had parent topics. We had Getting Ready for College for the parents, and we had a internet safety for the parents as well. And again, very, very successful. And what you see here is not only Lorena's daughter, but her son and her goddaughter. So Lorena Wilson has personally, supported our summits through the years with her children and her godchildren. So we couldn't do it without her. And she always does the registration. She's always sitting at the front desk. So you want Lorena to be the one taking your tickets. Thank you. Next slide.
Hi, this one's mine. So in 2016 was the 3rd annual youth summit. And at this point, we decided based on the mini summits that we had the previous year, that the students, what we heard was the students wanted more involvement. They wanted more leadership opportunities, and they wanted more responsibility and to be more visual in putting the summits together. And so this was, where, I remember having a meeting, and we were talking, and it was, let's hear what the students have to say, what do they want, and I remember a couple of the students that we had at the time, they were very vocal in what, how they thought the summits should go. And again, this one was hugely successful. Next slide, please. Okay. And so on this one, in 2016, there was, the topics were health and nutrition, internet safety, conflict resolution, I worry about my friends, peer refusal skills, and the power of no. These were all things at the time, and this, this is important even now, but at the time, these were the things that the students were talking about and they thought were really important. And so they were super involved. They were super involved in developing the material for the summits and also facilitating in some areas. Next slide, please. Thanks.
So in 2017, that's when we really got to see student voice as well. We did a couple of other things, engaging in the National League of Cities conference, which was in Washington, D.C. And Anita, I think, escorted some of our youth up there to engage in that. And we also had the 4th annual Roanoke Youth Summit. And this was also the implementation of the Summer Youth Work Program for this year. So in engaging our students and getting their input, they had some topics that they thought that would be extremely important, especially to the healthy development of our youth. So Angie, I think we're ready to move to the next slide. Some of the topics, I worry about my friends. And if you notice, that was also a topic the year before. Our students see themselves, our youth see themselves as part of the community. I think they probably more than some of our community members see the importance of looking out for each other, and they wanted to have some more discussion about that. They were also concerned about personal safety and handling stress and maintaining healthy relationships. And then what's your natural high? Like, what do you enjoy doing and how can you build on that? So this particular year, our youth really wanted to, that you could see they're starting to develop themselves along with the community at Hope. Next slide.
Hello, I'm here. I'm going to introduce you to Christian Bryant. But I want to kind of back up for just a second. I need to give information on Javion Tucker. As of yesterday, Javion Tucker was appointed the Roanoke NAACP Youth Council second vice president for the 2021 and the 2022 school year. So we're very proud of him in that form. And to talk about Christian Bryant. Christian Bryant is junior at William Fleming High School. He's also he's the outgoing for the NAACP Youth Council Community Committee Chair, but he is now introducing to you all our 2021-2022 NAACP President of the Youth Council. So we're very proud. They were insulated yesterday, and we're so proud of our youth and what they're doing, getting ready to do in our community. I just wanted to also let you know that Christian is also very active with the William Fleming Theater. And just last year, during the COVID, he was a co-writer of their play called Unspoken. That play basically talked about things that happen within the schools that the kids did not talk about, but it talked about being bullied by other students. It talked about the emotions of maybe the teachers as they were going through personal issues, but still trying to lead their students. And so that beautiful play, it was a tearjerker, but it was wonderful. And just to let you know, he's a writer in the making. So y'all keep an eye out on this one. I think he's going many, many places. So to talk about the youth service, the 2018 mini summit was a very successful one. This is the summit that after the young people came back from the city of that went to the conference in DC, they came back and they led that mini summit. They talked about the experience that they had while they were in DC. And in 2018, it was the year that my daughter, Brianna Wilson, went for the very first time. And she came back energized. She came back talking about all the things that she learned, the people that she met, how smart the kids was, and how funny some of them were as well. And she said that, you know, the things that they're doing in the other community, she was excited to bring that back to the Roanoke City. So, I mean, that trip also, you know, changed her in a perspective where she said, we got to do better. So I thank Nita Price for doing that, and AJ for taking these young people out to DC and bringing them back home safely. Also with the annual summer youth employment work program, and this started with Goodwill, which was a great opportunity to partner with that organization so that our youth who are sometimes have problems finding summer jobs. And so this gave them an opportunity to partner with the Goodwill Industries of Roanoke Valley so that they can help them fill out applications, get their resumes together so that they could be better prepared. So when they went in front of the employers, that they can speak and be able to tell them exactly what they're looking for and the expectations, and then also give them the skill knowledge so that they say, well, we want to hire this young person because they came ready. Also, our 5th annual youth event was a great event, and we just had a wonderful time. So I'm going to say, next slide.
Thanks, Lorena. The 5th Youth Summit was held at Patrick Henry High School. And it was the first time that we actually met after school had started. And that was really a kind of a, it was two things. It was first of all, it was a bit of a challenging in terms of trying to schedule it, because once school started, you've got football games and SATs, and we've been doing it after school starts for the next 2 summits after this. But and I think it's been really great because sometimes, I mean, it's really great for the kids to get together after they've experienced some time in school. The topic for the 5th summit at PH was express yourself. And we had heard from the students that were on the board and some of their friends that students who were anxious or frustrated were lashing out, not having positive ways to express themselves. So that was the theme of this work, of this summit. And you can see from the topics, there are all different ways in which you can express yourself. And we had just a wealth of instructors come in, and a local performer Juice did a music workshop where they were drumming. Who's it? Miss Yo did a dance workshop. Chef Henry did a cooking workshop where they cooked healthy foods and made granola. We did that in conjunction with I'm not going to remember her name, but a lady who did some mindfulness meditation. The Children's Theater came and did drama. I know I'm going to forget somebody. So we had a poetry workshop. Anyway, it was just tremendous to see the kids expressing themselves in all these different ways. But it was also, I think it was one of the best kickoffs that we've had. Our keynote speaker was a Roanoke graduate, Rayshawn Cobbs Jr., who is a music producer and has worked with the likes of Beyonce. And I mean, he held the kids' attention, let me tell you. They were listening to him, and his message was just so positive. It was about, following your dream, don't let people discourage you, but also be willing to work hard. And it was just fantastic. And then Anita's already alluded to, and this is what you're seeing in the picture of the slide here, I thought was one of the neatest activities. I spent a good bit of time in the library with the students as they went in to this map of Roanoke that the Roanoke City planning, I think is it City Plan 2040, I think was the name of it. It's a 20-year plan that they were developing, and they asked the different contingencies around Roanoke City, and in this case, the students, to take paint and with this glass that's above the map, mark in 3 colors, green, yellow, and red. Green were areas in Roanoke that they had a strong attachment to, that they liked, they were positive about, that they thought were necessary in their lives. Yellows were areas of opportunity where they'd like to see. And you can see there's a big congestion around sort of where Wasena Park would be. So it was kind of both a place that they liked, but also a place for opportunity. And then red were places that the students felt they really needed. So there were areas of challenge that the city had to work and improve. It was just so great to see them, first of all, see their city from above and try and sort of orientate themselves and then give feedback, which I think the city really enjoyed getting. Next slide.
So I think that I need to rewind a little bit, and you see that some years we've had some really heavy topics. Every year that we've had those heavy topics, we have had counselors, mental health people on site in case anybody needed to leave, in case anybody needed some time away to debrief. The Just Say No year, the how to say no, we did have several people who were triggered in their sessions and had to leave. And we had counselors who could go and be with them during their out in the hall to kind of help them through it. So we have taken a lot of thought to care for our students during these times and enable them to have the most positive experiences while they're talking about some really tough subjects. We've really talked about some tough things for kids. So it's been really great to be able to provide that safe space for them to be able to receive information and provide information for us. Additionally, in 2019, we also had another mini summit. We also sent youth to the NLC conference trip. We continue to partner with Goodwill for an annual summer youth work program, and we had our 5th annual youth summit. Next slide, please. This year, year we had communication, resiliency, relaxation, spoken word, and movement, again, as our topics. These were chosen by the youth. Many of them were that's what they wanted to hear about. Several years we have provided parent sessions because the parents came and they stayed. They wanted to hear what we had to say. So we do see that as an opportunity for us to continue to grow that part of our summit when we do get back in person, that we can provide some parent topics as well. And what we also saw, to our surprise, was that middle schoolers really wanted to be there. When we first started talking about this, we really saw this as high school, but middle schoolers really turned out. They really liked to come. And we did have people from outside of Roanoke City that really were interested, that we had to turn away the first several years. So what we found was that youth all over our valley could benefit from these summits that we were providing. So you see that we had a full range of topics for 2019. And I believe 2019 may have been the last time that we'll have our homegrown MC that we have had throughout our history, and he has moved on to bigger and better and will not be with us. So we'll be looking for that next star to lead us through our summit. So if anybody wants to nominate a star to be our MC, we're always on the hunt for that. Next slide.
Karen, that was a perfect segue. The MC that Karen's were talking about for our last several summits, both the big ones and the mini summits, is the young man you see in the foreground in this picture. His name is Aaron Dean. I have to tell you a quick story about Aaron. I've known Aaron since he was in 3rd grade, and he and my granddaughter were students at in Richmond. And I went one year to go pick them up, and he said, Mama Price, when are we going to start getting the youth together? Now, this was before youth services, but he's one of our motivators. After graduation from VCU, Aaron has always been right with us and has served as our MC, our moderator, and to just really keep all of us, the young people and us old heads, to keep us engaged. In 2020, in March of last year, I took 4 students, the 4 of the current youth representatives at that time. We went to Washington, D.C. As you've heard throughout these presentations, those young people listen, they pay attention, and they glean from what other youth councils are doing across the nation. They come back with best practices, and they come back with ideas. So next slide, please. So, as I said, we went up in March. We returned back from Washington, D.C. Mid-March. It was a Wednesday. I've forgotten the date. But that particular year, our 4 youth were once again going to present at the 2020 Youth Summit. They had their presentations ready. They worked diligently on the train ride coming home. But by the time we got back to Roanoke, by that Friday in 2020, the world stopped. The coronavirus pandemic came to the Star City, and as we all know, life has never been the same since. Next slide, please. So this year in 2021, we decided to do a virtual youth summit. And Karen, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, I think I'd love the next slide. So our next slide shows you what we did for our virtual youth summit. We really thought that the youth were going to tell us that they wanted to talk about social justice. They wanted to talk about racism. We thought that they were going to be fired up. and they were, but equally important to them was, how about this virtual school? We have been doing this for a while, but it's different. And my skills that I did so well in school with when I was in person aren't really helping me on virtual school. And I need different, and I need more focused skills, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. And as Anita talked about her granddaughter, Kennedy, she was the big vocal proponent for kids need help talking about virtual school. So we had 2 topics, unlike in past years where the kids have chosen the sessions that they wanted to attend. This time, everybody went to one, and then everybody went to the next one. And it was Dina Hackley Hunt led us through the Can We Talk About Race and Still Be Friends? And she, I think, opened everybody's eyes to how others might be feeling, or gave us some skills on how we can better have difficult conversations around this topic and still walk away friends. And I think it was one of the most meaningful, just a really strong session. And I think that the teens walked away thinking, I want more of this. We heard it all, I thought this was going to be hard, but it was not hard. It was really interesting, and it was really fun, and I want more. And we also did time management and organizational skills. And unfortunately, I'm the one who had to lead that. I had to, follow Dina Hackley Hunt, which nobody ever wants to follow Dina Hackley Hunt because she's amazing. But I think that we talked about ways to take care of themselves, ways that they can, tips for time management and organizational skills, and really some self-care strategies for them while they were going to school at home. And let's face it, teens want to be away from their families and parents. That's, the independence of teenage years. And all of a sudden we are shut down and everybody is in, close quarters. So I think it gave us an opportunity to talk about that as well. And I think it was just what our teens needed and asked for at a time where they were really looking for ways to connect and to gather different information. Next slide.
And so here we are, ready to reignite, re-engage. And as I learned many, many years ago, how do we continue to monitor and adjust so that we can continue to be relevant to the work that we hope we've been able to convey to you this afternoon in this presentation. And next slide, please. And in order to do that, we recognize that we must continue to maintain and foster those partnerships and the relationships that we have. And Mrs. White, I hope you've been able to convey, I hope we have conveyed the passion that we have established with this organization. And we wanted to make certain that we can continue to maintain that relationship with Roanoke City Schools and along with other entities and other agencies. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we certainly see this as an opportunity for us to continue to work with those other groups. For example, the work groups with the Gun Violence Prevention Commission. I had to write it down to make sure I said it correctly. But we can see that intersectionality and how we can complement and continue to work with each other so that we can continue to maintain and reignite even more and other relationships. And I will close with our last slide. My colleagues know that I say this often. It's my favorite quote from Frederick Douglass. It is easier to build strong children than to prepare broken men. And I always add to that, not only is it easier, it's also cheaper, because the more prevention we can load in on the front end, the better we all can benefit from what we do in those preventive, protective measures for all of our babies, because that is the future of our city. So with that, I want to say thank you. and we'll open the floor if you have any questions or anything that we can answer for you. Thank you again so much.
And I'll start here. Thank you, Ms. Price, and thank you to the board. This is what a wonderful overview. But I just have to say, you're my people, right? You have a heart for children.
Yes,
You are my people.
yes, ma'am.
You have found your tribe.
Yeah, I have found my tribe. I'm
Yes,
telling you.
ma'am.
Yeah, so I mean, everything from the academics to shouting kids out and celebrating them, and the social emotional support. You know, I saw something here about, you know, on there about kids worrying about their friends and all of that. So I mean, that stress is real. That's real for our kids. And I always say that we have to take care of Maslow's before Bloom's, right? So we have to make sure that we are looking at that hierarchy of needs, the social emotional safety of kids, as well as the physical safety of kids, before we can even talk about the academics. You know, you can't run from a lion and read a book at the same time. So you have to make sure that you're taking care of those needs first. And so I'm just so thrilled to meet all of you. I feel so honored to actually be in your presence because, you know, working with and for children, you know, this has been my life's work. And I'm just honored to be with others who see this as your life's work too. So thank you for inviting me here today.
Thank you so very, very much. We could not do this if we did not all have the collaborative input from, as you can see, from many different agencies, the support of Roanoke City, because children are everyone's business. They belong to all of us. And I've always said, you know, education does not begin and end in the schools. It's incumbent upon us all. So let me be quiet. Is anyone else?
I just want to echo Mrs. White's gratitude. You know, thank you so much for inviting. I know I hear a lot. I serve on some other boards and community service mission work with Anita Price, and I know that children are her first focus. We hear that all the time. We hear your Frederick Douglass quote, and it is so true. You know, I listened to a session on Channel 13 this past Friday night on George Floyd and his life. And if you get the chance to find it, I think it would be great for you all to see that. I wish I left that thinking, I wish he had had a stronger support system in his educational journey. But our children don't lack that because you all are doing such great work, not only focusing on supporting our children and their academics, but encouraging them in community service and social justice and socio-emotional growth, as well as their academic excellence. So I just say on behalf of the school board, thank you. I know Joyce is excited about the work that you do, that she has the opportunity to do through this board. And wow, I don't know how you all sleep at night with everything else you have going on and this work. So thank you. It's a pleasure to see all of your faces and to know who everybody who serves on this board, and just to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. And I know you, Karen, I know all the other work you do, and Lorena, and so it's just, and Vivian, and so all of you who just do such great work for this city. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We're just so honored that you're both here with us, that we could share this work with you. So bless you. So is there anyone else have any other closing comments that they would like to convey?
I'd like to just say that we're going to plan another youth summit. And as a former teacher, when kids come back to school in the fall, they're going to have a lot of affective issues. And just I would open invitation to Ms. White or anybody to come to us, and we'd like to be a big part of helping with that issue, and perhaps have a summit revolving around it.
Thank you for that, and thanks for saying that. And if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of invite myself back, if that's okay. We need some partners in this work. We need all hands on deck. So
all hands on deck, exactly. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So if it's okay, I'll be back to share some thoughts and to partner in any way that we can. They're our children. They're all our children. So anything that we can do together can only strengthen those programs and strengthen the support for our babies.
Well, absolutely. We are here to help in any way that we possibly can. And absolutely, it's all hands on deck because, like I said, we've all got to learn how to monitor and adjust in this new world. And for those of you who recognize that our children are under stress and how difficult it has not, I think sometimes folks forget that, you know, the adults have certainly had a difficult time during this pandemic, but I think we're all very much aware that it has had a tremendous impact on our children. So yes, anything we can do to help, we certainly will do just that.
It takes a village.
It does. Thank you. It does. It takes a village. So with that, anyone else?
I'll just add, this group does a great job. Recently, they've put a lot of hard work into the Youth Services Citizens Board. And after a group's been together as long as this group, I think putting together this presentation of the history has given them an opportunity to look at their mission statement and their action plan and their goals. And I'm real excited to see where the reigniting takes this group in the future, because I think there's big things on the horizon. I just wanted to add that in closing.
Okay, Angie, I was holding it together. So thank you for that. And
I just want to say that I'm really impressed after watching the presentation today. Oh boy, you guys have done a wonderful job, and I'm really eager to get on there and start working.
And Vivian, that I hope you understand now how you are the natural liaison to serve in your capacity as being a part of City Council, and to now come on board as part of our board. So I hope you see that better now.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you. And Mr. Cowell, I'm not going to close out without asking if you have any other comments or anything you want to add.
No, I mean, the only thing I would add that hasn't already been said, I guess, well, a lot of this has already been said, of course, how important this is and how, I've enjoyed being an active participant and it been to all of the youth summits, even the first summit. And, my commitment to Anita when she left the council, because she was the champion of this while on council, was that her departure would not diminish our commitment to that. And that still is my commitment. And we certainly want to keep being a strong partner in this effort. So looking forward to it.
Music to my ears. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I do wish we were all together because right now we all have to give that collective group hug. Group hug. Thank you all so much. Board members, we will be convening later on. We will start our planning sessions. Mrs. White, by all means, you let us know where you think we can best segue into. And like I said before, to every single one of you, thank you. This is our village, our tribe, and without a shadow of a doubt, we're here for our children, for our babies. So before I totally lose it, thank you all so very much. God bless you all. Love ya. And I'm sure we'll see each other eventually in person soon.
Yes.
Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you all.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.